Says, what are your thoughts on emotions feeding on each other? I was talking with people about the elections. Yes, I know. And they said there were people motivated by hate. I thought it was fear morphing into anger and hate. All right. So that's very interesting. The Buddha talked about three poisons: ignorance, greed, and hate. That's kind of very interesting to see that. Ignorance is very interesting because another way of looking at ignorance is ignoring the truth. Not my idea about what's true. Everybody has an idea about what's true. Take away our idea about what's truth, right? So when the Buddha realized his enlightenment, he said that everybody has this enlightened nature, but we don't understand ourself. We don't understand this I. That creates ignorance. Out of ignorance, people will express this in different ways. Some people express it in fear. Out of fear may become hate. Out of fear maybe becomes depression. Everybody expresses this ignorance. That means not understanding our true self, not having this connection to this enlightened nature in different ways. So that's why it's really important to get to the root. So where does fear come from? Where does anger come from? Where does greed come from? We can say ignorance because that's actually a Buddhist teaching. If you look at the 12 links of dependent origination, it all starts with ignorance. Out of ignorance, there's all these 12 links. It ends in suffering. Okay? But we always take another step in our Zen practice. If everything, so that means anger, fear, greed, desire, if all of that stuff comes from ignorance, then where does ignorance come from? If you're very clever, you can say comes from thinking. Where does thinking come from? If you're clever, you could say mind. Where does mind come from? If you're clever, you can say consciousness. Well, then where does consciousness come from? So just looking at this very closely, peeling back all of these layers and layers and layers, we can't answer anymore. We actually return to the place before thinking, before ignorance, before anger, before fear, before all of these things. We don't understand this original nature. We create this I that we don't understand. So we investigate that. From this place of before thinking, then we wake up. Our mind and this universe connects. This is where we find strength, love, compassion, wisdom. Then something can appear. Many people are messing with the branches, but Zen means get to the root. What am I? Okay,